Have you ever asked yourself why or how the most successful people are able to achieve their goals, whether it's dieting, whether it's quit smoking, and whatever it is that they set their minds to? And have you ever wondered why, whenever you try to set your goals and you set out to achieve your goals, you can't do it? You're kind of like a yo-yo, and you kind of hit a roadblock and you lose motivation and you run out of inspiration to achieve what you're doing, and it's just this kind of horrible loop. For most people, it's pretty frustrating when they hit those roadblocks and they are not sure how to get past it. And again, one of the things that I think in my take is that why people are not able to get past that is that they're not in the habit of achieving goals, and they don't have a good habit of achieving that goal. So if your goal is to exercise, or if your goal is to lose weight, and you haven't developed that habit already, and you just cold turkey say, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds in a month, you're probably not going to be super successful unless you're one of those crazy, fanatical, driven type A people that just achieve everything they set out to achieve. But for the majority of us, 87% of us, we have a hard time achieving our goals. Actually, it starts around January 15th. People start dropping off from their New Year's resolutions because they haven't developed the kind of habit that's going to be able to sustain and keep them consistent with trying to achieve their goal. You have to count the cost. If whatever it is that you're setting out to do, you have to count the cost. What is it going to cost you if you don't achieve these goals? Maybe it's, you're shortening your lifespan, or because you smoke, or because you have really bad dieting practices. Or you're not going to be able to pay off your mortgage, or you pay off your debt, or whatever it is. If you're not successful with that goal, if you're not successful with your initiatives to achieve that goal, which contribute or align to your dreams, your visions, or those things that you most desire, what happens if you don't achieve that goal? What's the cost? What's your life going to be in 5 years if you're not unable to be successful with your goal? So it's something that we need to take stock of, something we really need to examine and pay attention to, because if we're not, evaluating that stuff, then we're not really going to be as determined and driven to achieve that thing. So I want to give you a better and a smarter strategy for achieving your goal. And I really want to differentiate a couple of things, and I've kind of alluded to this previously. But so you have your visions, you have your dreams, and those things are long-term, okay? Those things that you most desire, those things that you really, really want. So maybe like paying off your mortgage. Obviously, you don't pay off your mortgage in a year. If you have a 30-year mortgage and you pay an extra payment a year, that's 13 months. You knock it down seven years, that's 24,000, right? Or 23,000 rather. So that takes time. So that's a long-term vision goal, or a vision or a dream, right? Your goals are things that you set to accomplish that contribute to your vision or to your long-term end game thing, whatever that is, however you define that. Me personally, my take is that I don't ever set goals longer than 3 to 6 months. I just don't. I'm not a big resolutions guy. In fact, my mantra this year is just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, my mantra this year is experiment. Whether it's experimenting with my life, my marriage, my physical body, my mind, my work, whatever it is, I'm just going to take the approach of experimenting. That's my mantra, because the thing I like about experimenting is that you expect failure. You give yourself permission to fail. So you know that when you're doing an experiment, you're trying all kinds of different things, and as you keep trying, you're going to fail and fail until you get the alchemy right, until you get the right quantities and the right volumes, everything kind of aligns, and then you've mastered it. You were able to achieve it. I like experimenting, and one of the things that my goal is to learn video editing. I've given myself 3 months to learn video editing, and because that contributes to my end game with my business. So I'm going to learn video editing in 3 months, and hopefully I'm successful with that, and I'll move on to the next thing, maybe videography, or maybe learn a different language, whatever that is. So you want your vision, you want your long term, you want your goals short term. Some people set goals for a year, and that's fine. But my personal opinion is 3 months to 6 months. I don't want to spend too much time, because really, if it's too long, then you start losing vision, you start losing focus on it, and you forget about it, and you just give up. And what that does is it perpetuates this really bad habit of giving up and losing focus and forgetting about it and not accomplishing your goals, which is a bad habit to get into, because you'll never achieve anything worthwhile anyways. And then you want initiatives, and your initiatives are those things that you engage and activate, execute to achieve your goals. So it's important that you understand the difference in those things, because when you're looking at it, especially when you're measuring your goals and you're measuring how effective your initiatives are to help you complete your goals, which contribute to your long term again, if they're not effective, if you're not able to achieve your goal in 3 months, like my goal is 3 months, I have to look at my initiatives. What am I doing? Am I really working on it every day? So I have to either do one or two things. I need to either change the goal in sense of make it longer, maybe make it shorter, whatever that is, depending on what you're trying to achieve, or I need to change my initiatives, my approach to how I achieve that goal. And so one of those things have got to change, or I've got to discard the whole thing altogether, because maybe I just don't have what it takes to achieve it. But hopefully that's not the case. But that's why it's important to measure it and really pay attention to it. So, thinking about a smarter strategy for setting a goal and when you want to start to execute your goals. So think about motivation. We're not always motivated. In fact, I might be or might not be motivating you right now, but for this split second or for these 30 minutes or after you get done watching this video, you might be motivated. But that motivation isn't going to last, right? Because you go back to your subconscious mind and it goes on autopilot and you forget about your motivation. It's not very long term and permanent. So you think about motivation like waves. I'm a surfer, so I like to surf. And so think about it like waves. Your motivation dips and it crests, and it dips and it crests. So when you're trying to achieve something, think about when you're most motivated to do something. Think about that time when you cleaned your house, and you didn't just clean your house, you got so much done. You got the laundry done, you got your house cleaned, you got the kids' clothes folded, you did all the grocery shopping, and you were super on fire because you were able to accomplish all these things and you're motivated. Take advantage of that time. Take advantage of that time and write down if your next goal or whatever your goal is to exercise, to eat better, to drink more tea. You want to get rid of coffee and drink more tea. Write out a plan. Write your plan out then, and put it on your calendar. Mark it up all over the place, and be ready to execute it and take advantage of that while the motivation is there. Because if you just sit back on your couch and think, I want to exercise, but your motivation is low, you got a bag of Lay's and maybe a bag of Cheetos next to you, and you're thinking, I really want to exercise. Yeah, you're not in the right place to execute that goal and execute those initiatives. So really think about that. My other tip on that is, when you're thinking about a strategy, is I want you to really think small. We have a problem with being overambitious. We want to set big goals. We want to achieve big things. We live in the culture of now, right? Instant gratification. We want to achieve these big things and we want to have them now, right? I want you to do the exact opposite. In fact, I don't want you to set that many goals. I don't have that many goals. I have a couple of goals. The most goals I set for myself in 3-month, 6-month increments is 1 to 2, possibly 3. I don't set that many. And then when I do set them, I don't go big. I go small, because I want to establish a habit. And I'll talk a little bit more about habits later. But so if you want to get into shape, I'll give you an example. For me, I'm going to the gym 3 times a week, twice during the week. So that's not that much. But in between that, what I'm doing is I'm doing push-ups. And I'm planking, right? I'm planking for a minute. That's not a long time. For some people, that's a lot, so you can change that number. You can go smaller than that. But when I first started the initiative to reach the goal of being healthy and having a healthy lifestyle, right? Exercise, working out is a lifestyle. Your initiatives are what you're going to do, whether it's going to a gym or doing it at your home or hiring a trainer. But you want to go small. So what I started to do is I do 5 push-ups every night. That's not hard. You can change it to 1. I do 5 push-ups every night because it's not really about how many you do. It's about the action. It's about doing that thing you set out to do that's going to contribute to achieving your goal, which it contributes to your lifestyle, right? Or your goal of being in shape in the long run. So I just go small. And I really want you to hold on to that concept. Like, go small, 1 push-up a night. Just get in the habit of doing it every night. You can successfully achieve 1 habit a night. And as you become successful, then you realize, man, I'm doing 20 push-ups a night, or I'm planking for 2 minutes, or I haven't drank coffee in a long time, or I haven't smoked in a month, 2 months, 3 months. The more you're successful with it, the better your confidence will be, the better the momentum will be for you. So you want to make sure that you're not being over ambitious when setting your goal, and you want to really think small. Start small. If you're trying to jump the Grand Canyon, if you're trying to jump this huge gap, you're not going to be able to do it the first time, if I can speak English. You're going to have to build a bridge, and you're going to have to do it 1 step at a time until you're able to cross that huge gap, and then you're successful. That's the long term. That's the long term. The other thing I offer to you guys is to write it down. Write it down. I love apps. I have a lot of technology. I have a lot of specific apps that I use for different things. But when it comes to writing goals down, when it comes to changing the mind and writing ideas and coming up with different things, journaling, writing down is the most efficient, proficient, effective tool that I can offer to you guys. There's something about just the feel of paper, the smell, the pen. I mean, just writing it, the physical action of actually writing it down on a paper, or on a journal, or on a planner, or on your calendar, or on your mirror. Write your goals down, plan it out. And I suggest maybe getting a planner and block out time for your goals or your initiatives and write it down, or plan it out. Make it concrete. Put it in your mirror. Put it in front of you. If you don't put it down on paper, if you don't put it on a vision board or on a calendar, you will forget about it, because we've got so much going on in our head. There is so much chatter and noise and things that we're thinking about, and we're so worried about the future, or we're living in the past, we're not present, that it disrupts us and it distracts us from being focused on our goals. So write it down, put it somewhere where you see it. I think you doing that will be highly beneficial for you guys to help you achieve your goals and your resolutions, whatever that is.